Everybody can see, and everyone can see the screen, yes?
Yes.
Excellent. Good to hear. Okay, so welcome all to the presentation tonight, this afternoon. I'm losing time. The New Age of Coming Out. This presentation is being presented by myself, Soli, and we also have the pleasure of having three alumni from the university here, Mallorie, Hardesty, Stephen Harrison, and Melissa Seitz, who have all successfully completed the program and are coming back as alumni to present for you. So I'm super excited to have them here and be doing this presentation with them. So I welcome them and we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to hand it over to Melissa. I think Melissa, were you doing the rationale, I think?
I thought it was the next slide I was doing.
That's okay, then I'll do this one. So no worries. So our presentation really is grounded in counseling in 2018 and beyond. Whoa, what just? I'm sorry, guys. I have no idea what just happened there. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. I, Sorry about that. I touched nothing and it just went away. So what I was saying was that our presentation is about the new age of coming out, and the new age of coming out is positioned in 2018 and beyond. And the reason that we wanted to do this presentation is because the rapid proliferation of social media, mobile apps, other digital technologies have really they've changed the patterns and the patterns of coming out. And when I talk about coming out, I'm talking about LGBTQ plus persons coming out and embracing their identity publicly. So just to clarify what I mean by coming out, that is what I mean by that. Um, it's really shifting from a predominantly physical like environment where I might walk up to someone and say, "Hi, Sue. I just want you to know that I'm bisexual," to a more online presentation of that. Social media can help with the coming out process in supporting it by providing community and support. And it has also been associated with breaches of trust and cyberbullying. We're not going to get into cyberbullying online because that is a completely whole big different animal, but it is one of the potential challenges that people face when they do engage in coming out or online. Counselors or counselors in training, as well as supervisors, can really be in a unique position to assist clients in the formative stages of their LGBTQ plus identity and are really ethically charged to understand the use of social media as we are positioned in the age where it is simply the norm. We can't really avoid anymore that it is what people do and how they use it. So regardless of our demographic age, as counselors, it is our ethical imperative to make sure that we understand how our clients function in the world. And one of those functionings is the use of social media. So understanding the use of social media among clientele, even if they do not approve of the use of social media for anything or engage in it themselves. So a couple of the things we're going to look at today are how clients use social media when sharing their sexual or gender identity with others, and also extending your capacity to help clients work through some of the stress associated with sexual and gender identity announcements, specifically as that relates to the online formatting.
Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, so for session rationale, counselors can assist individuals in the coming out process in many ways. It's giving them the support they need and also just kind of help guiding them to how they feel comfortable with coming out if it is via social media. Um, Often individuals engage in social media before and during the process, leading to a variety of potential positive and also negative outcomes. So a lot of times people will look to social media as guidance or ways to approach the situation of how they can come out to their peers, family, just their audience in general, and they're hoping for like a positive outcome of it and that these people will accept them the way that they are, but also it can lead to negative outcomes of people, as Dr. Soli said, cyberbullying them with their coming out. The tools introduced during the session may better position counselors with new language and way to assist clients with gender and sexuality announcements. So through this, we are hoping to help counselors in training and seasoned counselors how to help their clients if this does come up in sessions. Counselors themselves should be aware of their online and social media presence and what it shows to the clients. This is very important because our clients are looking to us as kind of guidance of life. And so we want to make sure that our social media presence is geared towards what we're practicing ourselves and to help them create a safe space with our clients as well.
And I'm just going to take a quick pause for just a second to ask when Melissa and Stefan and Mallory, when you are presenting, if you could please go ahead and come on camera, that would be great. And I think that this one is Mallory.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. So I'm Mallory, and it is our hope that during this presentation, that you all will gain a deeper understanding of the impact that social media has on the coming out process, and also just kind of gain an awareness of how much time is spent on social media. We want to talk about how to help clients fast from social media, which is essentially like taking time and space away from social media or like intentionally disconnecting from certain parts of social media. And then we also want to help you guys learn how to utilize a social media inventory, and how to like introduce that to clients in, a culturally appropriate manner. Some people might find a lot of their identity in social media. And so if you just come out and say like maybe you should not be on it, that could be really difficult to hear, and that might, create some conflict. So we want to talk about that with you guys. Um, I would like, I think not just me, but everyone presenting, would like to just hear a little bit about why you guys can, you don't all have to come on, but just come on real quickly and introduce yourselves and tell us, why did you want to come to this presentation? What is interesting about what we're going to share with you? How does it resonate with you? Why are you guys here?
And there are about 23 people here, so I'm actually just going to facilitate this by reading down the list. And if you
Perfect.
could just kind of come on really briefly, say your name and why you're here, or an interest, or just something related, that would be super. So, Dr. Hudson, I think you're here because you have to be here. But if you'd like to come on, you can. Next would be
She
Allison, and then Colleen.
so she's actually away for 15 minutes. I'm
Okay.
the room monitor for a bit, so she
Okay.
stepped away.
Then I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh, my name's Anastasia. I'm here because I'm helping Dr. Hudson with the chats and taking roll, and I like to listen and understand more about this topic.
Perfect. Allison, and then Dallas. Allison, are you on? Okay, let's go ahead and skip to Dallas. Allison, if you're here, come on. You can come on and talk to us. Dallas, how about you?
Okay, sorry, it was still muted. I'm Dallas, and I'm just interested in learning more about LGBT community and how like I can better counsel them in the future. So yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome, thank you. Giovanni and then Hannah.
Well, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Um, I decided to come here. Well, partially, I mean, just being gay myself. I guess I was in the transitioning stage between like where people would, and I just find the idea of coming out just strange in general. But um, the where I was kind of like in the middle when social media first began. So for me, I'm just intrigued by this idea of what it means to come out in the context that you're presenting.
Super. Hannah, I think you were trying to talk.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hannah. I am attending this session because I am a millennial and I've been brought up with technology and social media, and a majority of my gay and lesbian friends have used social media to help come out to their peers, and I think it's really fascinating. And also, I couldn't attend any yesterday, so I wanted to make at least one.
Well, I'm glad you're here. It sounds like you've got
Thank
a
you.
lot to contribute. So next we'll go Ivy, then Jennifer, then Jen Toof.
Yeah, I'm here because I feel like everyone is either related to, knows someone, cares about, or loves someone who is or will come out at some point in their life. And we live in a time where technology is a double-edged sword. So it can both help but also ruin lives. And so I think navigating both of those things is important for any counselor.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ivy. Glad to see you here. Hey, Jennifer, and then Jen, then Jessica.
Yeah, I just wanted to learn more about the topic. I'm not really familiar with a lot of LG rights and different things, so just trying to learn more about the community and different things that relates to it.
So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'll echo what everyone else said. I'll also add that with social media and this really divisive political climate that we have now, it's likely that LGBT people will be confronted on social media with very negative, hurtful things on a daily basis.
That is a really important point. Thank you, Jen. Katie, and then Maddie.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm here because I think that social media can have such a powerful positive and negative impact. So I think it's fascinating and also incredibly important to learn and discuss social media and the LGBT community.
Thanks, Maddie. Or Katie, I'm looking at Maddie. Maddie, then Maria, then Nicola.
I'm sorry, did you call me?
Maddie, I did.
My name is Maddie, and I will echo a little bit of what Gio said. As a bisexual, this topic is always very interesting to me, and especially how it relates to social media. I'm a little older. I grew up with social media, but in the stage where I was when I came out, that wasn't such a tool. It wasn't such an issue either. So it's interesting to see it applied to this kind of, this population.
Maddie, how about you? So go ahead, Maria.
Allison wanted to state that her speaker isn't working properly and that she is curious about a range of topics, in particular how social media can be leveraged positively for the LGBT community.
Thanks, Anastasia. Okay, so let's hear from Maria, then Nicola, then Shaniqua.
Yeah, I'm just also curious about how social media with the LGBT community, how to best help them and to learn more positive ways to use social media as a good outlet for them.
And welcome, Maria is also one of our graduates. So see people, they really do make it through the program. All right, Nicola, and then Shaniqua.
Being a part of the LGBTQ community, I wanted to, I know it's a huge, coming out is a huge part of the process, and I wanted to understand the new platform in the context in which social media is being used today to express that. So I'm here to learn about that.
Okay, great. I see I missed a couple people, so I'm actually going to backtrack and go back to Darlene and Dr. LA, and then we will move on to Shaniqua.
Hi, Dr. Soli. Sorry, I just joined in, just got back from my practicum site, so I missed what your question was.
Anderson, and your name and why you decided to come here today.
Oh, my name is Darlene Brown, and I'm currently in practicum. And I just popped in to see what the topics were going on for today and see how many I could get in. I just like the information.
Great. Thanks, Darlene. Good to hear you.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Dr. LA. I'm sorry I can't come on camera. I am also prepping dinner. I apologize, but my children like to eat. As a member of the community myself and an ally for my son who actually came out to me on Skype, he left a message and said, "Mom, I'm gay." And I wrote back, "It's okay. We've been waiting for you to tell us." And that was his coming out to us. And, you know, it's just been amazing how much social media has been part of his journey.
Thank you, Dr. LA, and thanks for being here to support all of us. We appreciate it. Okay, so next we have Shaniqua, and then Susie, and then Dr. TRW. Okay, let's move on to Susie.
Hi, everybody. My name's Susie, and I am where I live. I'm running into a lot of the adolescent LGBTQ homeless, and so it's become. They tell me that it's really become a problem, because they're having all kinds of difficulties in finding ways to live, and that leads to human trafficking. And so there's all these other issues that are surrounding what you guys are talking about, and I don't want to get too far along, but it's really become more of something that I'm becoming more aware of. So that's kind of why I chose to come.
Dr. TRW.
I am Tiffany Rush Wilson, and I'm here to be supportive and just to learn more. Curious about the topic.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you. I know it took a little bit of time to introduce ourselves, but I like to hear why people are here. We just think that it's important, and it's fantastic just to hear all of the different ways that people are connected, both to social media, to the LGBTQ plus community, and how that intersects with your lives. Okay, Stefan, I think you're up.
That I am. So the video that's coming up on the next slide is pretty much just scrolling through a bunch of different like social medias and seeing, hashtag coming out is everywhere. So you go on Twitter, you go on Tumblr, you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, it's everywhere and anywhere possible. And just kind of seeing the impact of you know, you coming out, or the people that introduced themselves saying that they were in the community, or before social media was bigger. And I'm kind of in line with all that. Also, was kind of in the transition between social media becoming big and everything like that. So it's really interesting to see how people use social media to come out, or to just kind of express themselves in different ways that they weren't able to before, whether it's just, with family on different sites, or with people that they just don't know. And sometimes it's comforting to be able to express yourself, or be open about who you are with, people that you don't know. Or sometimes it's easier to hide behind a screen and put yourself out there, and then deal with the consequences afterwards. And sometimes, clients do that. They would prefer to put themselves out there, let everyone know about what's going on, and then kind of answer up to it afterwards. And, finding whatever works best for your clients kind of starts with, what worked best for you. Whether, I mean, not everybody came out, but sometimes big news is easier to spread on social media, just because you're connected to 500-600 people at the tap of a key, versus having to individually reach out to a different person every 30 seconds and text them. And so kind of using that to gauge how you take in news, how you give out news, is kind of really important for understanding the basis of coming out on social media in this climate of LGBTQ plus individuals, allies, and kind of everything in there.
So, Stefan, did you want to go through any of this, or do we just want to watch the video first?
Well, I mean, we can watch the video first. It might be, it's only like a minute and 30 seconds or something like that, so we can kind of get some more stories, or some more input from other people out there. There's a lot of people in here, so I'm sure some people have some experiences that they'd be willing to open up about.
Okay.
We can't see.
Wake up, baby. You know I always find my way right into your heart. I know you never fall, and you gon' always be my baby. Because you show
There's
me
no
what
video,
love
Dr. Soli.
is,
Or Stefan.
and I don't ever
I
have to
can't see the
guess
video.
now. Here's on my heart, I give you everything, and baby, you gon' always be my best friend. Rain in the dark of night, even when the sun don't shine, you and me gon' be.
Dr. Soli, we can't see the video.
We shine, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' make it to the end of time. It's nothing is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I. Oh, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' be.
She's really into the song.
It's nothing is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I. Oh, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' be here till the end of time. It's nothing is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I. Oh,
Dr. Soli, we couldn't see the video.
Sorry.
We just heard some great music, but we couldn't see anything.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, the screen wasn't shared.
We kept trying to get your attention.
Awesome. Well,
You were
let me share my
hypnotized.
screen. How did my screen stop sharing?
I don't know, but you were
Sorry,
very.
guys.
Oh, fine.
We saw you
Media
bobbing your
issues,
head
and
to
I
the
wasn't even
music.
looking at the chat pod, which I'm sure you guys were probably screaming at me. What are you doing? Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, we're going to have to listen to it again, but we'll listen to it so you can see it this time too, okay? I'm so sorry.
Even when I wake up, baby, you know I always right next to your heart. I know you never fall, and you gon' always be my baby. Because you show me what love is now, and I don't ever have to guess now. I put it on my heart, I give you everything, and baby, you gon' always be my best friend. Rain in the dark of night, even when the sun don't shine, you and me gon' be here, babe, 'cause we shine, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' make it to the end of time. This loving is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' be here till the end of time. This loving is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I, baby, you and I, baby, we gon' be here till the end of time. This loving is forever, you should know by now, and I'ma always love you 'cause it's you and I,
Okay, hopefully you saw it that time. So these were just some of the questions that we had come up with, and sort of, as an introduction, but also just as talking points, around the video. So we're just going to kind of open it up to anybody who wants to talk about this. And Colleen, thanks. I'm glad Colleen just introduced herself too. And if anybody wants to take a look, actually, I'll just read it. She said, sorry, I missed the intro. I had an armful of baby. I have people who have come out in my immediate family, and I have people who do not support the community in my extended family. I try to be an advocate for the community as much as I possibly can, and I'm here to learn as much as I can. So thank you, Colleen, for being here.
I can share something. So
Thank you.
one of my really close cousins, she's like 27, 28. She has actually been dating a girl for about 4 years, and it's nowhere on social media or anything, and she's only told a handful of close friends and cousins and her twin sister, because I come from a very Catholic family and like my extended family, and she is terrified to tell her dad because she honestly, I also believe this, that he will just not talk to her ever again. And she actually came out to her mom a couple of years ago, and her mom, this is not a joke, literally pulled over the car and threw up on the side of the road because she was just so appalled. And it's just really heartbreaking. I mean, she lives with her girlfriend, and they're really happy, and I just don't see why it's such a big issue. If your child is gay, lesbian, straight, trans, I don't know why it's a problem as long as they're happy. And because it is one of my close cousins whom I love very much, it really irks me.
Well, and you really brought up an important point about how the intersections of culture, and particularly maybe cultures that are religiously based, can really intersect with this. And I think that I think Jen too, actually kind of mentioned that in the scheme of just our general society right now. So I really appreciate those examples and looking at it through this lens. And that's, I mean, so there's a case of someone who is out in their community, kind of, but not on social media at all.
Yeah.
And really only barely in their own community.
I just wanted to speak to the last point. If there are people creating an alternative identity on social media, I actually have a lot of LGBT friends who do have multiple Facebook pages. What they identify as their straight and their gay Facebook pages. And they do that because they have coworkers who do not know their sexual identity. And so it's a way for them to friend them without that coming out, because that coming out would put them in a dangerous or bullying situation through work.
That's such a great example, Katie. Thank you. And I have to be honest, like when I first thought about this, I was like, and it's sort of like that's sort of a case of multiple identities, and I wonder, I think that when I first thought about this, I was like, well, like, I mean, and transparently, like I don't use Facebook, but some students years ago created a Facebook page for me that did not have my name on it, and it didn't have a picture on it. So like for me, that was like an alternative identity. I never used it, but I was kind of thinking like, I wonder if people like what people if people actually do that. But your examples there are so pertinent because, and you mentioned something that within the scope of this presentation is so important for us as counselors to remember, and that is safety. I cannot underscore enough the importance of making sure that we as counselors, in whatever we're doing in our work with clients around their coming out, whether we're suggesting or suggesting not or whatnot, that we always remember safety and their safety, even just in our work with our clients, and it's important. So thanks, Katie. Anyone else?
One of my good friends, they are currently, I'm trying to remember to use the correct terminology, so I do apologize in advance because I'm still learning. But they're currently undergoing the shots and all that fun stuff, and he actually created a Facebook page. Like every week he uploads a video of his voice changing and all that, and because like one of our peers have stated, he came from a very Catholic background and was actually dismissed completely by his family and all the friends from the Catholic Church, and it was excommunicated altogether. And so he put up that Facebook page, and so I guess from my understanding, it's to help others who are in that transition period to make them feel less alone, and it's helped me a bit to understand the culture surrounding it as well.
Mm-hmm. It also helps, like, it sounds like it's kind of helped you understand the process a little bit more, Anastasia.
Oh yes, I admit I don't have much background knowledge on the LGBTQ plus community, but seeing him go through that transition and like the mental toll it takes on a person, because he has to go and take those shots and worry about people commenting on his voice changing, and how from one week he's different to the next, and the judgment that follows that, and the questions, and it's really they're strong. And I'm sorry, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, and I really what a great thing that he's able to kind of use that experience as an advocacy piece to help others. So thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
I would like to go. I just want to share that part of my coming out story. When I came out to my mom, she pretty much looked at me and disowned me right to my face. She said she didn't want to have anything to do with me ever again. And that was painful to go through. And on Facebook, I was on Facebook during that time period, and that was not helpful either, because I couldn't be myself on there. People were judgmental, and pretty much that was not, it's not, during that period of time, it was not okay to disclose on social media. So that was not helpful either. So I just altogether left social media and just became a loner. I mean, that was how I coped.
Hurts my heart to hear that. And I believe you were actually in my session yesterday on allyship, where I was presenting with my daughter, and it just, my heart hurts for you. It also, I guess, it begs me the question. So since then, have you have you gone back to social media? Have you found, I guess, a supportive community? And like, what's that journey like when you face that sort of, and this is a question maybe not just for you, Nicole, and please don't feel like I'm trying to put you on the spot. You can just say, none of your business, none of your business, Dr. Soli. That's totally okay. But like from being like in a state of being rejected, which is so painful, to to accepting yourself and finding and refinding a community. I'm wondering what that path has looked like for you, or if it has, and what other people's thoughts or experiences of that might be.
Not at all. I don't mind sharing at all. It has been very difficult. I haven't spoken to, I don't have a very close relationship with my family because of this. I've never returned to social media. I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook for about 4 years. Within my current position at work, no one really knows my identity. No one knows that who I am because it's so, it's hard to share yourself, and that's like a huge part of me, but I can't share. It's like it's almost like being fake because I can't really be who I am, and it's very painful because I feel like I just have a very small circle of friends that really know me and that I can really share myself with, and it's taken a toll on me because I feel like I'm in seclusion. I'm not out in the community. I haven't even found a community here in Dallas where I can go go meet with people within the LGBTQ community. So it's kind of hard. It's very difficult. It's painful. It is lonely, and I'm just finding ways to cope with it. Just kind of doing my own things of finding art and finding my writing and things like that. That's how I cope with it.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing, and I just also want to really honor that you are willing to be so vulnerable with us in this session and trusting us with your process and with your identity. And I would ask everyone on the call, just as I would ask as if we were in any other, kind of tight session, that, we protect and keep Nicola's, disclosure safe. I feel that that's only fair for any of us who are on this call. So, but I really honor that and appreciate it, and know that, I mean, you heard us. We are here as a community to support you. These peers that are here clearly are supportive ones and allies. So don't hesitate to lean into that support and know that it's here. Anyone else?
Yeah, in speaking to that, one of the things that I've come to realize is, especially when I got a job at a treatment center, and it has to do with just the virtual identity and what we present to ourselves, what's expected of us to present to ourselves, and how a lot of times that image that we're expected to present kind of doesn't allow, I guess, sometimes always an authentic identity, because the concern is the client first and foremost. And, as heteronormative culture is, the majority of clients are going to be heteronormative, especially if you're working in a residential area. But when you are in a situation where there are those clients who have not come out, or who have a different, who happen to be part of the LGBTQ plus community, but we emphasize that as counselors, whether it's virtual counseling or whether it's a residential area, that we be kind of blank slates. Sometimes being able to show that relationship and allow that door to open, to allow them to be who they are, is a very difficult thing to cross. I've found out a lot of facilities, a lot of institutes, they almost, even if they know that you are gay, they don't want you to be they want you to be available, but they also say, they're almost kind of like, don't, like, be hush hush about that. It's kind of like a thing that they don't say, but it's understood. Does that make sense?
Yep. Don't ask, don't tell is still alive and well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Well, thanks. And I know that honestly, I'm a storier, so I would love to hear. I mean, we could probably spend the rest of our time just talking like this, but I do want to move us through so that we can give you a few tools perhaps to use. I liked this. I liked this slide that all the world's a stage and all the men and women, and I would put in an SIC, which is like means basically that that's not the right wording for this day and age, and they have their exits and entrances, and everybody has a place to play. But truly, as this is William Shakespeare, and it is talking about the stage, like the stage for coming out and the stage for being who we are, has changed. And counselors do need fresh lenses and new tools in their toolkit, or at least new perspectives in their toolkit to meet these needs. And what, we're going to look a little bit more now at some of the roles that counselors can play. And Mallory's now going to present with us just some statistics about personal social media use.
And I hope I don't bore you all. I really like statistics. I like numbers because they're solid and they're factual, and you can just hold on to them. And I'm not going to go through all of these because you all can read. But I just want to kind of bring attention to the astounding amount of people that use all these different, and these aren't even all of the social media platforms available. These are just like I would say the 5 most popular. So there's 7.7 billion people in the world today. And of that, I mean, millions of people are using these platforms monthly, some of them daily. The one that stands out the most to me is Snapchat. They, on the website, they said that 2.8 billion snaps, which if you're not familiar with Snapchat, is just pictures that you send or videos that you send to like people that you know. 2.8 billion snaps are created every single day, which is just mind-blowing. And amidst all of that statistical data, what does that really tell us? It tells us that these platforms are huge, that there's a lot of people on them, there's a lot of people using them, there's a lot of people checking them. That also tells us that there's a huge level of anonymity, and so people can, like we've kind of talked a little bit about just like bullying behavior and ostracizing behavior. That happens when there's this many people using these huge platforms, right? We can be somewhat anonymous. I also wanted to talk about I read this article that Generation Z, which is after millennials, they appear to be moving away from social media because of that kind of lack of connection. So social media was built to be really connective and to be a way for people all over the world to reconnect and to talk and to see each other's lives. But we're finding that the younger generations who have grown up with it are moving away from it. They don't feel like it's really personal. They don't feel like it's intentional anymore. And it feels just kind of like, I think in the article, they call it like a time suck, where just people are just on it, just scrolling for no reason. And so I put this question here, but we kind of already talked about it, that like looking at this data, of the millions of people who are using this, how many of these people are actually utilizing these platforms to come out, and is it safe for them to do so? Do they feel safe? Do they feel seen and heard and validated amidst the millions of other users? And so what I created, since we're talking about social media and all of that, I created this really quick little survey just to kind of assess your own your personal social media use. You can take it now, you can take it later. If you're one of those people like me, like you can't multitask super well, then maybe take it after the presentation. But I'm going to put it here in the chat, and that's the link, and you can take it. There is one question at the very end that Dr. Soli and I will come back to at the very end of our presentation. So maybe just have it up so you can look at it. But you can take that anytime, and it's just really supposed to be kind of a way to bring awareness to your own social media use. And I wanted to mention this data includes they don't differentiate between personal use and like professional use. So now we're seeing a lot of job classes like solely for social media, people who work for social media, or they do social media for companies. So these stats, I couldn't find stats to separate those two, but for the purpose of this presentation, we are just talking about personal social media use. Dr. Soli, I can't hear you. Can anyone
Thank you
else
from mute.
hear?
It's me. It's at the end of a very long day. I can't even manage to get myself off mute. No, what I was saying was that while the tool that Mallory created is in SurveyMonkey just for her, my hunch is that she would probably be willing to share that as a tool that you might be able to use with clients, because it seems to me that knowing our social media use is actually could be really helpful for people because they just truly may not have a good idea of it. Along those same lines, and this, I'm not going to share this tool with you because I want to move through it, but this actually is a tool that Dr. Foster has shared in a different presentation. And this is a checker. It is a tool whereby you can go through and assess your entire online presence by going into a number of different websites that help cull out like what your online presence overall looks like. It is a really helpful thing for us, I think, for students, but certainly as counselors, and probably also for your clients who might be looking at coming out online, or maybe they're having trouble or whatnot, to really see what's out there. Figuratively, we're looking at what is online presence about us. Really putting this tool in the advising forum along with this PowerPoint. So it's a great tool for use with yourself, and it's something that you can use with clients to just help assess and notice and look and evaluate without judgment. Let me say that none of this is meant to be judgmental, but really just to help give you, that would be great. All right, moving on. What's next? Okay.
Mallory, now you're on mute.
Dr. Soli, I'm pulling at you right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think we've already kind of talked about this, but really just considering when you're sitting with a client, the benefits and challenges coming out online or on social media, and how do you start to have those conversations with clients?
I guess I would follow up with that too. Is there anybody on the line who has tried and true ways to talk to clients about this? What are your thoughts? And if not, that's okay too.
So I can kind of talk about it, but yes and no. So I have one transgender client now, and I've had one in the past, and they were already out by the time that I got to them, or they got to me, sorry. And they might kind of be the outliers. They might not be. They're younger, so they're around 16, between 15 and 17. And they kind of just were like, I'm going to put it out there, and whoever accepts it, they do. If they don't, they don't. And, they're constantly on social media, so they kind of just found the people that were the most supportive and just kind of build their support system around them and use that as their kind of coping mechanism, but also their outlet to just be able to, this is me and this is how I connect with people, and you like it or you don't like it.
I know during my internship, when I was still living in Atlanta, I was at an alternative high school, and one of the boys was wanting to come out to his family, but he was feared because they were Southern Baptists and they lived in Alabama, and they said that they would disown him, and he would have to live on his own. And they almost told him that it's a phase. Well, they told him it was a phase and that he would grow out of it, and it was just because he was young and he hasn't experienced life. But he did use social media as an outlet to tell his friends, and because of that, he gained a support group that supported him, even though his family told him he would grow out of it. So it's a positive negative thing, that where social media turned into a positive outlet for him because he gained a support group because of it. I think you're muted, Dr. Soli.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Not, actually.
Oh, I thought
But
you were talking.
I think Stefan was going to go through this, but I think that what you just said, Melissa, I think is really important, and just to really ground people in it, to like help you understand, like, this presentation is not to say that like coming out or being involved in social media is a negative thing. It's not. It's just a matter of looking at it and relating to it in a way that is, to use my catchphrase, I guess, mindful, intentional, so that there's not, so when things do start going awry, there's not that, oh my goodness, I had no idea that could actually happen. Like, I had no idea that I could be bullied. And for us as counselors to really help clients assess that in a way that is intentional rather than just unintentional. Because probably if they're in your office, there's something that isn't going particularly well. That would be my guess. Stefan, do you want to go through these? And I know we're coming up on time. We have about 5 more minutes, and then we need to kind of wrap up. So
Yeah. So real quick, kind of harkening back to what Melissa and I said about, our clients that created their own support groups and everything like that. This is kind of just some of the tools and replacement behaviors or new behaviors that you can kind of use for yourself, but then also use for clients that come in that have already come out, that are looking to come out, or want to be kind of preventative, and you can give them advice or not give them advice, advise them, join a support group, find a support group, start one. There's plenty of, LGBTQ plus centers in a bunch of different places that, some for teenagers, some for adults, that they can kind of take advantage of. You can volunteer with culturally diverse populations. You can gain some new hobbies that, you may not have realized before. There's adult kickball leagues that, you may not have been able to check out before, but now that maybe you're giving up on social media, or you just want to find some new things to do, and you can just find some ways to connect with that. And then for some people that may have supportive family members, or just family members that have gone through some of the same challenges, and you can kind of find a way to relate to them. And other things, like reading books, different books on the topic, or feeling shame, or about suicide, because that comes up, like we said, with the bullying, and even sometimes movie lists, and even video lists like TED Talks that are on YouTube. Those are super helpful. I know I've used those before. Making new coping skills, or developing new coping skills, sorry. And, finding ways of understanding what it is to destigmatize, the backlash or the negativity that comes along with coming out. And then even if you decide to continue with using social media, how to use it properly, how to use it as a way of, supporting yourself through the process, not only just putting it out there and just letting it run wild.
thanks, Stefan.
Of course, this is my slide, random thoughts. So, story of my life. I have to kind of close this, sorry. Expressing and engaging in your own sexuality in social media in a healthy way, that also kind of helps your clients, shows them how to express a healthy way if you're able to example it yourself. So that's always a good way. If they're looking for guidance, you can always say, go to my, I think everybody now has like a therapy Instagram page for their company. So, you can say, go to my company's Instagram page and look for, healthy ways to engage into social media, or, just to expose who you truly are, so that's a great way. Dating apps. It's just, dating apps, you gotta love them, right? So I mean, even having a healthy relationship with that, I know in my practice, if I feel like a client needs to know that I'm a human, I will share like my struggles with the dating apps. Like, sometimes you just got to block the people and delete them, or just delete the app off your phone and have a healthy break from it, so you can kind of get back into who you are. Um, let's see. And you have a choice to use it or not to use social media. I know a lot of people are deleting Facebook because it's just overwhelming. I know with my generation population, everybody's married with 4 kids, and so everybody just assumes that you should be at that same stage of life. So it's okay, it's healthy to have that block from social media.
And speaking of blocks,
Yeah, guide you right into it.
So one of the, I guess, post presentation things that I think is being sent out is a social media fast challenge, and kind of tracking. I think Mallory brought this up, and I'm sure Melissa spoke to it, and I'm sure Dr. Soli did too. But finding ways to just take a break from everything and kind of reevaluating what it is to be mindful on social media, because it's super important. You're putting things out on the internet and they are searchable forever, whether you think they're gone or not. So kind of taking an inventory for yourself and then deciding, what you want to do with that information. And sometimes breaking it off and just not being available in that capacity is, very therapeutic, very healthy for you. And then that way you can be an example for clients that come in and need to either do it or fully understand why it's important.
thanks, Stefan.
So,
Go ahead, Melissa.
do what?
Go ahead.
We would love to follow up with everybody with a post assessment after the social media fast to find out what happened, how you felt, like what did you like take out of your life, and did you replace it with something healthy? Did you maybe like pick up jogging, with that time that you spent maybe on Instagram? Because the iPhone shows you how long you've been on these apps, so you're gonna have some extra time now. So we will send out a follow-up assessment just to see like how everything's going with the social media fast.
Thanks, Melissa.
Dr. Soli, you're almost at time.
I know. So one of I'm Mallory and I and our team. First, thank you all for coming. I realize we're like 2 minutes from time, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to have a lot more time for discussion. I know we've had some as we go along. Our challenge to you is to pick a social media that you use the most and don't open it for 24 hours. This would be a really interesting challenge, especially on a Friday night. But notice your own reactions to that, your anxieties, your awareness, and jot those down. So that is it. Anybody have anything they want to add? Just gratitudes, appreciations, anything, takeaways?
I'm thankful for all the people that showed up and were a part of this presentation and, put their input in and gave us really good, things to work from for our whole presentation.
Yeah, thank you all for coming.
I'm thankful for our alums. I'm been really impressed with the involvement of the alumni, and just really am always so appreciative of everything you guys give back to the program.
Me too. They've been wonderful to work with. All right, well, I'm going to take down the presentation, let my next person who's in here up. And thanks again, everybody. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. And thanks again for coming. I appreciate it. We all do.
Thank you so much, guys. That was
Thank you. And